It is hard to believe that this past year was 60 years of Banterra Center since it opened.
Yes.
And one of the many players, there's a lot of players that people were like, hey, Luke, you got to get the opportunity to talk to him. There are very few, mention as many as this guy, Mike Glenn. He's back in Carbondale. He's actually speaking on campus here later on tonight as we talk to him. Mike, welcome back.
Thank you very much. You know, it feels so good and so familiar. Morris Library, that's home.
What are the feelings like coming back to campus for you? What type of special feeling do you get every time you come back when you get the opportunity to?
You know, I really miss my teammates and friends. See, of course, Michael Haywood, other guys that were here at the same time. But as far as the guys that played with me, etc., I miss them. I think, where are the guys?
There's so much people will think, look, we'll go through some of your numbers and the accolades and everything you earned as a player. But how much is it that you still hold on to is your teammates, the road trips, no doubt you remember the fun games and going to the Sweet 16, but how much do you really hold on to in terms of the relationships with your teammates?
Oh, very, very much so. The teammates and the big games that you mentioned and the crowds welcome us here and SRU. It was just a magical time. It's strange, but you never forget those games. Those games and some high school games, you remember the rest of your life. NBA, you play for years, and each game is just another game tomorrow night, you know. But in the college and high school, it's a little different.
Take us through back when you were deciding to come to SIU. You know, the recruiting process is a little bit different nowadays for the modern college day basketball player. What was it like for you when you think back of when you were deciding to where you wanted to play your college basketball career?
Well, it was very different. For example, like North Carolina recruited me pretty hard. Dean Smith drove to the house and everything. They would drink a sip of their soda and give you the rest of it because they couldn't buy you a soda. So that was really funny. But I was recruited by North Carolina, Duke, Maryland, Maryland and Georgia, Georgia Tech, Alabama. All I visited a lot of schools. And Southern Illinois was the last one that I visited. I had almost decided I'm going to go to North Carolina. And then Corky Abrams and we were going together. And for this last trip, we visited Southern Illinois, and we just fell in love with the campus and the coach and the academics and the chance to do something special. You know, if you went to North Carolina, you were one of 20, 20 great players that have played here. And I decided Southern Illinois was where I wanted to go to school.
You brought up Coach Lambert, and so many of us did not have the opportunity to get to meet him. One, just due to him dying so tragically.
Yes.
What was he like? What are your favorite memories of Coach Lambert?
Oh, he was a fun guy. Coach, he was easy to relate to. He would ask us our opinion on things, and we'd go to his house and everything. So he was a very special guy, man. It really hurt us. I gave his eulogy at his funeral here at the arena, at the SIU Arena. So we missed him tremendously. And fortunately, Coach Williams is still around. Coach Hubert has passed, my other coach. And we miss those guys a lot.
People today, and look, we've talked so much with Coach Nagy and all of our coaches and across our sports of how this landscape of college athletics no doubt has changed.
Yes.
The transfer portal with athletes not having the opportunity to really stick at a school, stick with coaching staffs. What do you hold on to still to this day that Coach Lambert taught you, whether it's life, basketball, that is still present? That it's clearly something you still think about even today here in Marion, Illinois, coming back?
Well, on the offense, running the fast break, keeping your back to the sideline, how you catch the ball to start the break was Coach Lambert. I got a lot of that from him. And defensively, Coach Hubert always how you get over the screens, position to see the ball and your man. You know, it's certain things like that you have just little phrases that you remember from him. You know, see the ball. You know, well, that was actually New York. Red Holzman was very famous for that. See the ball, and I hear Phil Jackson telling that. I said, I know where he got that from. Because he would always holler, see the ball, see the ball. And I tell you one thing was very funny. Michael Ray Richardson, who played with the Knicks, a teammate of mine, he threw a pass to John Rudd and hit him. And Red was very funny. He was just laughing and saying, what you hit him with the ball for? What did he do? He said, he didn't see the ball. So he threw Red's quote back at him, you know. But it's a quote that stays with you for a lifetime. It's kind of weird, but it's true.
To be part of the Saluki team, the first ever to make the Sweet 16.
Yes, sir.
No doubt, of course, Walt Frazier and his team remembered for years for being able to win the NIT. Take us back to that time of making the Sweet 16 at that time. What was that moment like to be the first team ever in Southern's first ever NCAA tournament appearance at the Division I?
It was so magical, man. I mean, the fans were going with us to the games, and we would come home from a flight, and they would be at the airport cheering for us, and all of the football players would be at the games, and it was just magical, man. It was so wonderful the way that they recognized your accomplishments and they were cheering you on as hard as they could.
When you think back to that year, started off with a really good win against Mizzou. I think they were top 20 at the time in the country. As the year was going along, did you guys as a team feel like we can do this? Like this is an attainable goal?
Yes, indeed. And, you know, I tell you what was funny. A little later on, Marquette was in the same regional. We were getting ready for Marquette. We thought we were going to beat them. I said, I'm going to guard Butcher Lee. We knew who we wanted to guard, how we would match up, whether it was a man-to-man or a zone. But we felt that we had a better team than they did. And but then we got upset by Wake Forest after beating Arizona, and that was a big disappointment. But we felt we were as good as anybody in the country that year.
How much do you still remember the Sweet 16 game against Wake Forest?
Oh, man. I was so bad, man. And then they got into isolation, four corners, all that stuff. And they couldn't miss a free throw. We'd foul them. They'd go to the line and make both of them. And it was a close game all the way through, man. And it one that we easily could have won. So that stays with you to a lifetime, too.
What do you believe, Mike, was the separator that made you from being just a good player to being one of the all-time best who ever played here at SIU?
Well, really, it's just your confidence in yourself, the practice you go through, the off seasons that you have, how much you prepare for it, and your teammates, how you pull together, and something magical happens. A chemistry happens between you and your teammates, and you become even better than you thought you were. And I think that's kind of what happened to us. We killed Michigan, beat Detroit badly, you know, had some real big wins, played against the UCLAs, and played Louisville very close to a point or two game too. And then all of a sudden you begin to say, hey, we're pretty good, man. We're pretty good. We bring on the best.
What kept you guys so close together? And, again, it's one of those things where no doubt to win a Valley championship, which is what Coach Nagy and the program's goal is. You need to have talent and skill.
Yes.
But there's the part of what you mentioned. You immediately went to team chemistry, the culture within. What made the culture and the chemistry piece match your guys' skill to ultimately lift you to the level that you guys did?
I think the communication that we had, the love for each other that we had, the realize of certain skills that we had, just kind of brought us all together. We knew that Gary Wilson's only 6'5", and he can play center, but he can jump. He's going to get that rebound. And we knew that Wayne Abrams was so fast at 6'6", and the long arms. We knew he had some advantages that were hard to match up against. And Corky Abrams was such a big factor in that. Corky, they played a zone against us. He would look away from me, swing it right back to me, and I'd be wide open. And I always thank him. Thank you, Abe. But it was tremendous, the relationships that we had.
One of the other notes as I was just kind of looking through your bio and looking through our record book was when you were here is when Southern was making also the transition into the Valley.
Yes.
You were part of those teams, the first teams in the Missouri Valley Conference. What was kind of the expectation level of entering the Valley, and when you finally joined it, what do you remember just of those first initial games being a Missouri Valley Conference team?
I remember some of the teams that were there. Drake was good. Bradley was good. Wichita State was awesome. They had a big 7-foot center and Cheese Johnson at forward. So it was a very competitive team, and we had to take our game to a higher level than we had previously. And that was immediately available and obvious to us that we had to do that because the talent that we were playing against was greater.
You mentioned Wichita. What some of those teams within the league, what do you still think back on and smile and go, man, those were some battles? Like go back, those were some really good games.
Oh, man. It was. They were so talented. I mean, Wichita had talent all across the board. And big, strong, so you had to play a really good game. And just preparing for them, for their size and skills. And we practiced a little harder, a little longer. And we beat that team or played real competitive with them. We know we were there.
Look, we've talked a lot about your accolades on the floor. Mm-hmm. There's been a lot of community service that you've been a part of throughout your life, Mike, whether it's doing basketball camps for the hearing impaired,
yes, sir,
to so many other examples. Mm-hmm. Why has that been important to you?
Because they gave to me. My dad, when I was born, he was already coaching at Georgia School for the Deaf, and the girls and boys on his team just adopted me into their culture, and they taught me so many things, and I hope that I gave them back how they had loved me. I mean, I'm from signing, oh, how I loved you. Just even the signing that my dad and his class would do before school started and the love they showed me and practicing. So the second time I practice at my school, go home to the deaf school, practice again. So I was practicing twice a day and got to be the #1 player from the state of Georgia. And I felt that I owed them it's gratitude, and I feel and hope that I have repaid it and shown them some extra things. So that was very special to me.
It's easy today in today's culture to look at it from a self-serving perspective.
Yes.
When you get the chance to talk to guys who are in your shoes now at Southern or wherever, just playing basketball, how essential is them having that connection to not just to their team, but find a way to connect to the community in some way?
I think it's so important because you play for more than yourself. You play for a group of people or persons that are proud of you, that are poured into you, not only just your family, but somebody else is cheering for you and pulling for you, and it makes you a better player and a better person, I feel. So I always valued that tremendously. Throughout my career and throughout my time at college here, I'd go places and meet deaf kids from all across the country and just start signing to them. So it was a special thing that really gave me my superpowers.
No doubt. And you had plenty of them professionally. And, to go through, when you think of your pro career post-SIU, is there anything you go to and say, I'm most proud about this, what I was able to accomplish in the NBA?
Yeah, it was some really good pointers and games we won and challenges that we met with various teams that I'm very proud of. And teammates, Earl of Pearl Monroe, just speaking with him every day about the game, how he approaches the game. He tries to get coming off the bench, get my shot up early to get accustomed to the flow of the game, or try to make that first shot good or get it up. And Earl was a fan of getting his shot up. And every now and then, even though it was late in his career, he would look like the old Earl of Pearl. And so I really liked the relationship with them. And that probably stays with me more than anything. Even as a retired player, I was a vice president of the Retired Players Association, and they would treat your son so nicely. Even Dr. J would come up to my son and say, "Hey, I'm Julius Irvin. I know you. I kind of know you." So it was so nice. Me and Bobby Dandridge even say hello to him, and just to be a friend with everybody like that, and them to treat you well and treat your spouses or your children well. It's a special thing. And I think it teaches you that we have that responsibility to show that same love and warmth to people that we meet.
And you appreciate guys being humble. But you're
Yes.
like, I know who you are.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yes.
Appreciate. I want to be that humble too, but I also know who you are.
Yeah, exactly. And then one of the last guys was Bill Russell, I was with my son, and we were at a retired players meeting, and Bill Russell just came up to him and shook his hand, and the lady with him said, Bill never does that to anybody. And it was so strange. He said, hi, I'm Bill Russell. And that's Bill Russell, man,
Yeah.
with 11 rings, you know what I mean? And so it was just a tremendous thing. My son remembered it, and I should remember it forever. So we have to realize, too, that you have that kind of impact on people in society that's greater even than you see. And later on, they'll be, I remember this game, or you did this, and they'll remember more than you do.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's what's so great when guys like you come back.
Yes.
It's, no doubt the relationship with teammates, we've already covered that.
Yeah.
But there's also relationships that you build within the school community.
Yes.
That still hold on to you.
Mm-hmm.
Who were some of those that weren't necessarily athletics affiliated or a coach or a teammate of yours that really had a big impact on your career, and why you have such admiration for SIU?
One of them is Morris Library. I spent a lot of time in the library, and I knew the librarian, and we'd always speak, and I'd always see him. And he kind of helped bring the best out of me. And I had some other math professors that were that way. So some people that I really respected for that, what they had done academically with themselves and students and the subject. And I'd even meet with some, like I never really studied broadcasting. That was not a goal of mine to be a broadcaster, even though I did for the Hawks over 20 years. I was a math major, and I went to the guy who was into finance and all that stuff and met with him. I just said, can we go to lunch? He said, sure. And he started telling me why he liked stocks more than bonds, and et cetera, et cetera. And I eventually worked on Wall Street. And I learned about the first beginning of that from here at Southern Illinois. And, you have that kind of relationship with other athletes. We had some great baseball team. I used to talk to those players, some runners, cross country, things that they can help you. You just, how you run so much? Cause heel, toe. So you have a lot to learn from being at Southern Illinois too, from other athletes, from teachers, everybody there, fans. It's just a good experience overall.
When you go back, as I mentioned, this past year was 60 years of the arena since the first game in 1964. The game day experience that you remember, what still, when you get the opportunity to walk into the arena, what did you love most about playing in the arena?
Well, we had a hard floor.
You're not the first player to say that.
That they couldn't, the opponents couldn't really adjust to it, is whether we would kind of adjust to it. Kind of like the Celtics do that old Boston Garden. They run you to the dead spot on the floor, the ball would go out of bounds, etc. But playing in that environment, and Spackman, we had a good trainer. Dr. Spackman was tremendous. And he could give you some exercises and things to strengthen certain parts of your body. And he would even tell you what other players did. I knew exercises that Walt Frazier did. We talked about that. Walt would take a golf club, and he would put a weight on the end. He would do so many curls with his wrist, and say, he did? So you try to do that with Walt, and Walt would come back and work out with the weights and things, and then he'd play 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, and that was always good for those guys because they would come back, man. Nate Hawthorne, Willie Griffin, Dick Garrett, just so many guys I played a lot with in the summertime. I think it helped really develop me too, more than I would have otherwise had not they come. So that was it.
What will be neat, and as we record this, I know you just found this part out this morning, but our fans, by the time they watch this, it will be public knowledge. But to know now when you walk into the arena
Yeah.
and you're going to see your jersey
Yes.
up in the rafters, joining just the all-time greats here at SIU. One, what it meant when AD Tim Leonard gave you the news. And what will that moment be like when you can look up into the rafters and see Glenn?
Yeah, it'll be magical for the rest of my life for sure, because I never saw that as a possibility. Walt finally was the only player that get in that category when I was here, and I didn't think I had that as a goal, a dream, or anything. And when I'm at that level, it's something that you'll be always proud of. This is what you did at your university that meant so much to me to be here. So I'll always treasure that and remember that forever.
Get you out of here on this note because I could talk to you all day, but I can't do that because you got a really busy schedule, Mike. To the fans, Saluki Nation.
Yes.
What's, from your heart, what's the biggest thing you would want to tell them today when you get the opportunity to still meet them and what they've meant to you in your life?
Oh, they were so special. They don't know how much we loved them. And when we go, especially in a tournament, like I said, and they were at there hollering SIU, and the band was playing for us, and it felt so good, man, to just really be that much closer to the university and the fans, jitters, everybody. It was wonderful, man, and I really thank them for that, for cheering for us, for caring, for wanting to see us do well, and I thought they took us to a high level. That anybody came in the SIU arena, you were going to get whipped. So we defended that arena, man, and we had a lot of pride in it.
Not only you, Kent Williams, earlier today as recorded, he looked up and he said, you guys see those banners up there during those years? We didn't lose a single conference home game.
That's right.
The amount of pride that all of you guys took to not just play for the fans, but you're not winning when you come into this
That's
place.
right. That's right. We had that feeling, man, and we were there. We justified it with the amount of wins that we had. It was magical in that arena, buddy.
Look, fans, no doubt, they're terrific, and SIU would not be where it's at today and won't be as special as a place it is without Saluki Nation. But when you think of a group that is extremely, maybe even more passionate about the success of a program, it's those who have worn the uniform before.
Yes.
And again, in today's day and age with guys kind of leaving and going as much as it is, you're going to have an opportunity to speak to the team at some point.
Yes.
What would just be your message to the current team that wear that uniform of how many former players, such as yourself, still look at that jersey with so much pride, and how the success of the team, you guys are still following along, and it's still it's still very important to you guys.
Yes, indeed. I'll tell them that when I was broadcasting for the Hawks and Walt Frazier was for the Knicks, we get together before games and talk about how Southern is doing. What do they need? What are the deficiencies there? You know, so we still cared about how the Salukis are doing, and we always will. And I would, and Walt Frazier does as well. And we mean a lot, even though we don't see a lot of the former players. They care about you. They care that you're winning, how you're doing, how Southern is doing. And I think they have to feel that pride that we have in being a former Saluki. And I think they have to develop that pride and carry that pride with them from now on.
Mike, we really appreciate the time. When you come back to see that jersey up in the rafters, we'll have to get you on Saluki Radio again. So great to meet you. Thanks so much for the time.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.